What's going on, guys? MMA Island team. We got the fight picks. Very, very interesting matchup here. Zak Cummings taking on Alessio Di Chirico. Man, very interesting matchup, as I mentioned, in the middleweight division. But I will pass it on to Zach to start us off.
I thought you were going to go first. Okay, I'll take it. So, Alessio Di Chirico, as we just figured out it was pronounced, has had kind of an odd UFC career so far. He was coming in a kind of highly touted prospect, and he comes in and he gets knocked out by Eric. No, that's not his first fight. He loses to Bojan Velikovic, gets a win over Gareth McClellan, and then he gets submitted by Eric Spicely. That's not a good look. And he's 3-3 in the UFC, and okay, sure, 3 UFC wins. That's impressive. Gareth McClellan, he's not in the UFC anymore. Oluwale Bangboze, not in the UFC anymore. And Julian Marquez, well, it's hard to tell if he's in the UFC anymore. He barely ever fights. He was supposed to fight on this card, and it just kind of got pulled without any semblance of without anything. But the thing that stands out to me about Chirico is nothing, really. He doesn't really excel in any singular aspect. He's kind of one of those well-rounded guys who's not really good at one thing. But you can't say that about Zak Cummings. Zak Cummings has that one thing in his pocket that he always has, and that's his very, very elite Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills and his very highly touted, very high black belt. Now, the thing with Zak Cummings also is that he has a wealth of training partners to train with. I mean, Glory MMA and Fitness with him and James Krause, that's their gym in Kansas City. They have guys like Grant Dawson. They have like Megan Anderson there. They have tons of fighters in that scene right now. They're just trying to light it up. And okay, on the feet, I feel like this battle is going to be very even. They put out a very similar amount of output and a very similar amount of accuracy, and they defend strikes at almost the same rate. But if this fight goes to the ground, and I do believe Zak Cummings is going to want to take this fight to the ground, that he's going to submit him. Because how even they are on the feet, right? But it's a whole different ballgame when it's on the ground. Alessio Di Chirico on the ground is nothing compared to the Brazilian jiu-jitsu excellence that is Zak Cummings. So I think that Zak Cummings is going to submit him. I don't really see a way that Di Chirico, can win this fight, really, besides just a boring, rangy decision. I don't think he can finish him. I think there are more paths to victory with Zak Cummings, so that's what I'm going to pick by submission.
Well, yeah, I'll have to disagree with you on this one. Talking about Di Chirico, man, this dude, the first thing you got to mention is the amount of talent that he has fought. Makhmud Muradov and Kevin Holland, 2 guys who are absolute killers. And he was able to go to the distance with them, albeit losing fashion. But, man, you mentioned the Eric Spicely triangle choke. Eric Spicely is pretty good on the jiu-jitsu side of fights, albeit he hasn't been able to show that, at least as of recently. Obviously, he got cut from the UFC recently as well.
That's
but
tough.
Man, the thing is I'm looking at how you can win this fight. And you mentioned how you think Zak Cummings has more of a way of more opportunities to win the fight. I have to completely disagree with you there, because I think Zak Cummings, obviously, he's got a great submission skills. He's very, very good with the guillotine choke. He's got it off many times throughout his career. But talking to Di Chirico is, man, he can strike. He can really, really strike. And I have to agree with you when you say that Cummings has the advantage on the ground. Definitely have to agree with you. But I honestly think that he's going to be able to defend the takedown. His takedown defense has been absolutely amazing throughout his UFC career, currently sitting at 83% takedown defense ratio. And he also likes to get the takedowns as well. So that does scare me with a guy who's very, very good at the guillotine choke, going for takedowns. If you do it blindly, you don't set it up, and you don't hide it very well, you can easily get caught in a guillotine choke, as people know. So that's one thing that could definitely happen. But striking-wise, I think that Di Chirico is way, 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 way better than Cummings in this one, especially with Zak Cummings being kind of past the prime, I guess you could say, at 36 years old. I just think there's way more opportunities for Di Chirico to win this fight. I think he's faster. I think, honestly, at this point in their career, I think he's probably a little bit more powerful. I think he can obviously bring up a submission. No one is ever safe on the ground when you get 2 guys who are pretty good with submissions, and I think Di Chirico is pretty good with submissions. Obviously, he hasn't had the chance to show it very well, but he does have some submissions on his resume. He's got the key lock, he's got the rear naked choke. So if he's able to get a back take, he could get it on the ground. But I don't even need to talk about that because I don't think it's going to go to the ground. I think that takedown defense is going to be something that plays a role in this fight 100%. And with Zak Cummings being a little bit older, I think his one thing that even I've noticed in Zak Cummings' recent fights is that his speed just isn't there anymore. And I just think that that is also going to play a factor with Di Chirico in this one. Being the faster fighter, I think that gives him not only an advantage with natural takedown defense, but being in positions where you can kind of get away from taking those, being in those opportunities. And is this fight at middleweight?
Yes.
This fight is at middleweight. Right now, I'm looking at it's listed at welterweight for Zak Cummings. Did he fight Akhmedov at welterweight or middleweight?
No, but he has fought welterweight in his career with wins over very solid welterweights in Alexander Yakovlev, Nicholas Dalby, and he has fought Gunnar Nelson, Santiago Ponzinibbio, and the likes.
Gotcha. So, yeah, man, and I think Di Chirico, if I'm not mistaken, has fought at middleweight his entire career. I'm not going to say that makes a huge difference. Zak Cummings being older, and especially if you mentioned he's fought at middleweight before, I think it's probably not going to be too much of a factor in this one. But the main factor I'm looking for in this one is really just the speed Di Chirico, the takedown defense of Di Chirico, and just being able to piece his way throughout the fight. And I really think this fight is kind of slated for a decision on this one. If it is a finish, I assume it's going to be a sub by Cummings, just because he, as you mentioned, he is very good on the ground. He's got those submission skills, and especially with Di Chirico liking to go for takedowns, I think that could easily set up a guillotine opportunity. But even talking about Zak Cummings typically he's not too crazy with the takedowns. Looking about the stats, he's got 0.75 averaged per 15 minutes at 28% accuracy, and that's not very good. So definitely got to go with Di Chirico in this one. I just think that he's got way more ways to win it. But you guys got to break the tie on this one. We got more and more disagreements piling up, and if you guys haven't seen him, you guys got to check out the other Fight Pick videos because it's kind of interesting when we get these disagreements because typically one of us just looks like an idiot after the fight ends. And as of recent history, I've been looking like more of the idiot than Zak has. But hopefully I can get right on this one, taking Di Chirico on this one. And, man, like as I mentioned, I want to know what you guys got. So make sure you guys are letting us know in the comments, showing your support, showing you what you guys got for the fights. And make sure you guys are also checking out the other Fight Pick videos.